If you love movies like me and listen to our radio show with Films with Philip, you know we're all about films, and there is a new service that you can watch movies on. Joining us right now to talk about Filmstruck is Alicia. And Alicia, what do we need to know?
So if you go to filmstruck.com, you can start a 14-day free trial of this new service. This service has been created by Turner Classic Movies and the Criterion Collection, a great partnership between the two. The Criterion Collection has some of the most highly acclaimed movies of all time. So together they've partnered to give you this service, which is kind of like a Netflix for cinephiles. You go on there and you've got over 1,000 different movies to choose from. They're constantly refreshed every single week. You've got art house films, indie movies, foreign films, cult classics, really just the best of movies ever made right there on Filmstruck.
Well, you're going to have to fill me in with that category you mentioned. What is art house films?
Yeah, so art house movies are the movies that, might not have such a big budget to them, but they have a really unique, original way of telling a story. Something like David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, and this is one movie that is available on Filmstruck to watch right now. It's a very avant-garde, really out there movie, but so brilliant and something that is really worth watching. And that's the thing about Filmstruck. If you don't know much about movies, but you've always wanted to delve into more about the greatest films ever, or movies from different countries that you've never seen before, if you don't know why Akira Kurosawa was such a brilliant Japanese director, then Filmstruck offers an easy way, an easy guide for you to go in there, because when you go to Filmstruck, you can see all the different curation. There's a whole lot of different themes to choose from, and it makes it really easy to go and find a movie to watch.
Okay, not to put you on the spot, but I know you are a world-renowned film critic and you probably have a ton of suggestions. But now that we're going to get our subscription to Filmstruck, what are 3 movies we should probably check out first?
Yeah, I do have a lot of suggestions. My first one might be a little bit biased because it's from the Cinema Passport Australia section, which is a section that I host as well. You get these hosted intros when you go to Filmstruck to give you context about the film. So I would say Mad Max for sure, which is a classic Australian film. But then you've also got Akira Kurosawa, who I mentioned, his movie Ikiru, which is a great Japanese film, a very touching movie, and one that people might feel daunted by. It's black and white, it's got subtitles, but when you watch it, the story will really hit you in the heart. And then in a great section called Pretend You've Read the Book, you've got the classic film Lord of the Flies, which is based on that book, something that I had never read. We didn't read that book in high school in Australia. So to watch the movie, it really gives you a great cheat sheet on what the book is about. And it's a great disturbing film, but really worth your time.
Alicia, Mad Max is an Australian movie?
Yeah. Mad Max is like our Western hero, he is our mythic guy. And so it started out in Australia. The first one, I think, was in 1970, and then you had Mad Max Road Warrior, and that one ended up coming to America and being shown. But yeah, starring a very young Mel Gibson, and now, of course, Mad Max has continued with Mad Max Fury Road. But to see where it all started, you can watch that on Filmstruck.
Well, that certainly is awesome. I want to tie back to something you mentioned about hosts doing segments before the movie. So tell us about your introductions.
Yeah, that's right. So when you go on the films, sometimes you'll see a little extra section called Hosted Intro, and you can click on that, and then you'll see me and my fellow co-hosts. And what we do is really give you context about the movie. So if you don't know much about Mad Max, for example, when you go to watch it, before you start watching, or maybe afterwards if you want to learn more, you can watch these hosted intros, and I will be telling you why this movie is chosen, what was happening in the world at the time, who it's directed by, who the actors are, and it gives you some great context to the film. Because sometimes I know when you go on other streaming services and you're watching a movie, you're not sure why this film is important, or you want to learn more about it. And so Filmstruck offers that. There's the hosted intros. There's also great bonus features, mini documentaries, interviews with filmmakers, so much more. It's like when you put on the DVD and then you watch the extra features. It's got it all there.
Well, it certainly sounds great. It's like a present opening early under the tree. Thank you so much for this Filmstruck introduction, and I can't wait to see how you introduce the movies, including Mad Max. Thanks for joining us, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.